What's going on, guys? How you doing? So it's Friday, and that means it's another video, it's another week, and we've got a weekend upon us. I'm going to do a video off the back of a number of requests that I've had from you guys. If I look back over my channel over the last 7 months, and it's hard to believe that it's only been 7 months now, my review videos have been by far my most popular ones. And as I've done these review videos, people have been asking me to do reviews on a number of providers. One of the most popular ones is the one I'm going to be reviewing today. They're called Wealthsimple. Now, truth be told, I didn't even know that they were a thing, or that they were around, or that they even existed prior to everyone kind of suggesting them. They were completely new on my radar, and it's you guys that have put them on my radar. So with them being so popular, a request, I thought I'd spend a little bit of time today just to give you a review. Now, as always, when I do these reviews, what I'm trying to do is put myself in your shoes, right? So as a first-time investor, try to strip away all of my knowledge and basically approach this with the assumption that if I was a first-time investor, are these guys going to present me with the information that I need so that I can make an informed decision without second guessing myself? Now, I do have some advantages because, as you know, I am a qualified financial advisor, so I kind of know what to look for. And what I'm essentially looking for is them giving you this basic information so that you know the important things that you need to know as a first-time investor, and if you're actually going to use them. Now, they do have an app and they do have a website. I'm going to be talking you through their website today, and I'm going to be highlighting maybe some questions that you should ask if you're going to be using them or you're considering using them. I'm also going to point out some of the things that I like and some of the things that I do not like as well. But with all things, guys, when I do these reviews, please use them as a basis to do your own research. I'm not saying don't use them. I'm not saying use them. I'm simply giving you my view of whether they're giving you enough information. The decision is really going to be yours. But if you have any questions on them, I'm more than happy to take them. So make sure that you leave them in the comments below. So without further ado, let's jump over to my laptop, and I'm just going to talk you through their website, and we're going to go through the normal process that we normally do when we go through these reviews. Okay, so this is their website. It's actually very, very clean. I do like that. I mean, 1 coin coming down and 3 coins coming back up. It's quite an interesting graphic, to be honest. There you go. There it is again. Quite gimmicky, I guess, but it tells a story, right? You're investing money. You're hopefully going to get more money out of it. So I do like it. I like design. So that for me is actually very, very clever. But as always, when I'm looking at companies like this, you know that there are 2 things that are non-negotiable that they must offer. The first is typically found in the footer of their website. So let's go down there. And what I'm looking for is this statement right here. Wealthsimple UK Limited is authorized and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. That is their firm reference number. Now, like I always say to you guys, this is extremely important. The Financial Conduct Authority are the regulators. So if anybody's providing you any investment services, insurance services, they have to be authorized and regulated by these guys. Now, one thing that is really important to note is that you do have their reference number here. So if you wanted to be super prudent, you could go and take this number here and pop that into the FCA register online. All you simply do is type in to Google FCA register, put in that number, and you'll also be able to confirm independently that they are indeed authorized by the Financial Conduct Authority. So that's just an extra thing that you could do if you wanted to. The second thing that they have to offer you, as you know, is protection under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. Now, this isn't stated anywhere in the footer of their website. So they probably placed it somewhere else here on the website. So let's go hunting for it, okay? And it is here. So it's where we talk about keeping your money safe. Now, there are a few statements on here. Some of them you would expect. State-of-the-art security measures. Well, yeah, of course you would expect that. They're dealing with your money. So that doesn't get them brownie points. This is just standard stuff, right? 2-factor authentication and data encryption. Yes, standard stuff. Now, assets are securely held and protected by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. This is what we're looking for. Now, the limit is £85,000. I did have to go and look at this on a separate page because here they don't tell you what you're covered up to. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've spoken about the Financial Services Compensation Scheme quite a bit. So whether you've been watching me here on YouTube or followed me on IG, or whether you've taken my investment course, you know that the Financial Services Compensation Scheme is non-negotiable, right? They have to offer you this level of protection. And there are two tiers to this, okay? One of them is a voluntary tier, and I'm just going to explain very, very quickly. So the standard protection you get under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme is £85,000. This is what these guys are offering you. There are some companies out there that will offer you protection under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme with no upper limit. And what that means is that it doesn't matter whether you have £85,000 or £1 million invested with them, they are going to cover you for the upper limit, so for the £1 million. There aren't that many companies that provide this, but just a little tip for you that when you are shopping around trying to seek out providers to use, it is something that you perhaps just need to keep an eye out for. Do they provide you additional protection? One company that I can think of off the top of my head right now that offers you protection of the Financial Services Compensation Scheme with no upper limit, so up to any amount that you have invested with them, is PensionBee. So it's not the end all or be all, but it's definitely something that you should try and make sure that you dig a little bit deeper on, because if you've got two providers that are relatively the same in terms of cost of managing your investment, and that is the one contention, that you may want to go for the one with no upper limit rather than the one with £85,000. And yes, there's an argument that these companies might not go bust, but guess what? Lehman Brothers went bust in 2007, 2008. Nobody saw that coming. So it's just an extra thing for you to have a look at and put down in your notes to pay attention to. So let's just go back up to their homepage here, okay? So we've already spoken about the graphic here. Let's talk about what they actually do. So powerful technology plus human help. This is all on the app, so this is talking a little bit about the features on the app. I'm not so much interested about that at this point in time. What I am interested in, though, is to get a bit more information about how things actually work. There's a lot of publicity going on their homepage. Yes, a 4.5-star review. That's really, really important. Best financial services website. I don't doubt that one little bit with the way this website looks, to be completely honest. Most innovative companies 2019. 4.5-star review on Trustpilot. These are pretty good things, right? They do matter in your decision to use them. And there's quite a lot here. Starting 5 minutes. So again, a 1, 2, 3 step to getting started with them. What I am interested in, though, is the details. So let's go here and let's see how this works. Now, they do this beautifully, and this is all about taking you on a journey, right? So your eggs in lots of different baskets. If you've taken my investment course, you've heard me speak, you know that I use that analogy a lot. Eggs and baskets. The idea is that you're going to minimize your risk as much as possible by not putting all your eggs in one basket. You put them in as many baskets as possible. This is what these guys are alluding to right here. And one thing that I do like that they've done here is they've actually got a sliding scale, right? So you see how that moves right here? This is designed to kind of bring you on the journey. So I'm going to talk you through this very, very quickly, break down some of the language that we're seeing on this screen so that it kind of makes sense. So what essentially are they trying to do, or what are they trying to explain here? Your eggs in lots of different baskets. Diversifying your investment means you minimize risk while maximizing rewards. We invest your money across the entire stock market using funds that track the global economy. We will help you choose a risk level that is suitable for you, then build a custom portfolio based on your financial goals. Now, custom portfolio, I think that is a little bit of a stretch because from what service they are going to be providing you, it is very, very unlikely you're going to have a custom portfolio specific to your needs. Now, according to the slider here, and we'll get to this in a moment, you're either going to be conservative, balanced, or a growth kind of investor, right? Those are their 3 tiers. And depending on which one of those 3 you fall into, there will be you and 200,000 other people invested in this fund. So it is custom to your risk profile, not custom to you personally. And I think that's really worthwhile just noting in terms of full transparency. Some people take custom being custom to you personally. It's not custom to you personally, it's custom to the basket of people or group of people that accompany you within that risk profile that you select for yourself. Now, we say we help you choose a risk profile. What they mean by that is with this slider. So let's just have a look at their conservative, because that's the lowest level of risk. So what they're saying here is they're going to have different things that they're going to invest money in. So if you're a conservative investor with them, you're going to have 53% in UK government bonds. You're going to have 23% in global company bonds, 0% in emerging markets. So government bonds in emerging markets. You'll have 7% in UK stocks, 8% in North American stocks. So that's essentially the US, S&P 500, Dow Jones, so on and so forth. 2% in Europe, 1% in Asia, 2% emerging market stocks. Now, the reason why this is important is you are conservative. Again, if you've taken my investment course, I explain what bonds are. Bonds give you a known outcome when you're investing. So it's basically a loan to a business or to a company where you charge them an interest rate. And with a bond, the great thing is, you know how much you loaned out, you know how much your interest rate that you charge is, and you know you're going to get that money back over a period of time. That's why bonds are so beautiful. We talk about minimizing and spreading, diversifying your risk. Bonds are a great way of doing that. So essentially what they're doing here is they're using bonds to prop up most of your portfolio to ensure that you're not overextended on your risk. Now let's just move this dial really, really quickly just to see what balance looks like. So balance looks completely different. You've got 11% in UK bonds, 25% in global bonds, 4% in emerging market bonds, 20% in UK stocks, 23% in Northern America. So again, that's S&P 500, that's Dow Jones, 7% in Europe, 4% in Asian stocks, 6% in emerging market stocks. So here they are taking more of a look at exposing you to equities, which is companies, Tesla, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, companies like that. They're pushing you more to hold companies like that because that's where you're going to see most of your growth. Now let's have a look at their last tier, which is effectively growth. I would call it adventurous. This is a 10 out of 10 on the scale. What you'll see here is you have 0 in bonds. No UK bonds, no global bonds, no emerging market bonds. You are fully exposed to the stock market. So UK stocks, Northern American stocks, Europe, Asia, and emerging markets. This is what I say when I mean that you have no defense play. Your bonds are your defense. So if you're a 10 out of 10, you've got full exposure into the equity markets, which may or may not be for you as a first-time investor. You just need to be the kind of person who's inquisitive enough to understand how the markets actually work and what it means to be fully invested in the equity markets. And again, if you don't understand what that is, my investment course can help you out with that as well. So now that we've got through that on this page, let's move across to here. I do like this. This reminds me of Inception, right? That's what this reminds me of, and I love that film. But putting your money on autopilot, this is really important. One of the big things that people often struggle with when they want to begin investing in the markets is falling into the habit. What these guys essentially do is they allow you to set up a direct debit, so you never miss a milestone with automatic contributions. I talk a lot about automated. This is essentially what they're going to be doing. Dividend reinvesting. And now let's talk a little bit about this, because there is so much content right now on IG, on YouTube, talking about dividend investing, and people are physically taking their dividends out of their portfolio, taking it as income when you're 25 years old. I'm a firm believer that you should not do that. Why? Because you have time on your hands. You have the ability to work. You have the ability to put your efforts into earning money that you throw into investments to grow for the future than taking a dividend income from your investment. This is really, really important, guys. I cannot understate this enough. If you invest in getting dividends and you're taking in the dividends as income in your 20s, you are robbing yourself the benefit of compound interest. And compound interest, according to Einstein, is the 8th wonder of the world. It is a powerful thing. These guys are doing the right thing and the thing that I believe is the right thing to do, and that's reinvesting your dividends. So that means that if you have any part of your portfolio or your investments that are paying you with dividends, they will automatically just reinvest that dividend. That will increase and exacerbate the effects of compound interest over the long term. Very, very important, guys, and I love that these guys are doing this on your behalf automatically. Now, automatic rebalancing. This may sound like jargon, and I've just clicked on this just to show you that there is an article here that explains what rebalancing is. Now, essentially, this is just a way of managing your portfolio to make sure that nothing is out of kilter in terms of where your money is allocated. If this is something that you need to understand, I might do a separate video on this, but one thing that they do, which is great, is they provide you articles to explain it. So take a minute or so to read through that article. If that sounds like jargon that you can't fully understand, I would go through it here, but I'm very, very conscious of time length for this video. Easy access, right? Very, very important. It's available on your phone, on the website. So you can access it pretty easy as a client of theirs. Now, one thing that I do want to push on and actually have a look at is their pricing, because the pricing is very, very important. So let's have a look at it, right? So there are 3 tiers with them. You're either a basic, a black, or a generation client. Now, if you're a basic client, that means you have anywhere between £0 to £100,000 to invest with them. Now, it breaks down what you can get or what you will get with this service, and it also breaks down the fees. And there are a couple of questions that I want you guys to dig deeper on if you're going to use these guys when it comes to the fees. So the headline rate is 0.7%. Okay, that is pretty much on par with most people. It's on par with Wealthify. It's on par with Nutmeg. It's on par with people like Moneybox, right? But there is an additional fee, and this is an average of 0.2%. Now, what that basically says to me is that they will bring in investment managers on their behalf to manage your money for you. But the problem that I have with this is it's an average of 0.2. I would like to know what the actual fee is based on the level of investment that you are going to make. Now, other providers outline this information a lot clearer than these guys are, and that's probably the one thing that I don't like, and the one thing that I'm going to ask you guys to ask more questions about. So certainly on this, what are the additional fees? What are they going to be for you as a first-time investor getting started? Is it going to be 0.2? Is it going to be 0.5? Because if it is, then you're going to add that to that, and all of a sudden you're paying over 1%, which as a first-time investor could be deemed to be quite expensive. So you need to know these things, and that's a question that you definitely need to ask. Now, if you're a black client with them, well, you're going to get everything in the basic plan, but their fee is reduced to 0.5%, and that's for good reason, because you're investing over £100,000 with them, right? But there is still an additional fee of 0.2%. So again, I'd want to know what that basically is, and you get some additional perks like investment planning as well. Now, if you're a generational client with over £500,000, well, there isn't a specific price breakdown here. What this says to me is you're getting a little bit more of a bespoke service, and they haven't outlined what their plan costs are. They also haven't outlined what their additional charges might be, but you do get a lot more. But if you're not falling into this category, don't worry about it. If you're in either of these first two, then you definitely need to be asking more questions about what the additional fees are and what they are going to be for you specifically. There is a really, really good and extensive FAQ center on here. So again, if you're going to use them, make sure that you read every single one of these questions. It will tell you a lot. But one of the things that I do want to point out, which I think is absolutely fantastic, and these guys deserve a big, big, big pat on the back for, is this section right here, their Learn section. And believe me, if you guys follow me, you know how passionate I am about financial education and financial literacy. And you know how disenfranchised I have been about, providers not giving people the information that they need so that they can make, a good financial informed decision. It's the reason why I do this here on YouTube. These guys have actually got an environment where they talk you through things. I mean, Personal Finance 101. They're not just focusing on Investment 101. Personal Finance 101. I mean, look at this. How to save money, top saving tips, how to create a savings plan. It's got some really, really, really good stuff. How much cash should I keep as an emergency fund? As you know that I talk about this all the time. If you're going to be investing, you need to have an emergency fund before you begin investing. The fact that these guys are actually giving you 1-minute reads, articles to help you with this stuff, I think is a great thing, and they really, really should be applauded for this. And then obviously you've got the investment 101 basics for beginners, how the stock market works, active versus passive investing. This is all very, very great stuff. And, let me just go on to their investment masterclass. I mean, come on, you could start the class 45 minutes. They take you into, more detail, 10 short videos. It for me, as a service that they're providing as a provider, is, I love it. I absolutely do love it. Should this sway you to use them? I think it gives them a few more brownie points than maybe some of the other providers that are out there. I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. And anything that allows you to learn, that takes you on the journey, is a good thing. So one last thing I do want to just highlight about this provider and this website is this. Now, in order for you to go any further, I mean, this website is literally just for information purposes only. In order for you to get the full picture of, how your portfolio might be broken down, the companies that might be in it, all that kind of stuff, you actually have to create an account. And I haven't created an account. It's not something I wanted to do because I don't really intend to use these guys. I might in the future, but I haven't at this point. So I haven't really got a full picture of what their breakdown might be. But just as a review of their service, these are my final thoughts on them. The interface is very, very slick. If the app is anything like the website, then I think it will give you a really good user experience. And don't get me wrong, user experience is really, really important. The last thing you want is to put your money with a provider where you can't see information clearly. And God forbid, the service is as bad as everything else as well. So things like websites and apps give you a really good indication of what they're going to be like to work with. If they put thought and effort into their website, into their app, the likelihood is that they're going to be really, really good to deal with over the phone or through whatever communication mediums they have for you. Now, there are clear questions that I'm going to ask you to raise if you're going to use them. Really do ask these questions. Cost. They're not as transparent as I would like them to be. Certainly when it comes to the additional costs, I don't know whether they lay that information out separately when you sign up and you're using the app. I don't know. I've not signed up with them for the account, but I do know that people like, Wealthify and Nutmeg are better at displaying this kind of information. And that's very, very important. Again, this is all about when you're a first-time investor, are they giving you enough information so that you can make a decision with confidence? If I was a first-time investor, not having a clear indication of what it's going to cost me would put me off slightly. And that's why I'm saying, ask the question. It may be different when you get through to the app, and I hope that it is, but ask the question and start to dig through that information. But overall, I think just judging by their website, again, if their website is any indication to the app and what their service might be like, I'm very, very impressed. They give you the basics. They are covered and authorized. Well, they are covered. They do give you cover under the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. They are authorized and regulated by the FCA. That's great. They take you on a journey. They automatically reinvest your dividends, which I think is the right thing to do. They help you put everything on autopilot, direct debit straight in. You don't have to worry. You don't have to think about it. You're not picking stocks. You're not doing that like you would do on Trading 212. So this is a completely different service. If you're the kind of person who wants to invest in the markets, but just wants to send some money somewhere, doesn't want to worry about doing research about the company's balance sheet and all this other stuff, these guys are a good option for you. So those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this review. Whether you have any further questions, please do feel free to message them in here. But again, use this as a basis to do your own research. If after you've done your research, you have further questions, ping me a note, find me on IG, ping me a DM. I always answer all of my DMs. I'll happily answer any questions that you have. But in closing, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video, my podcast. If you've not visited or looked at it, listened to it, please make sure you do. The artwork is right there. And just one last thing, as you know, financial education is my life's work. This is what I'm really, really passionate about. If you're the kind of person that wants to learn how to manage money, pay off debt, improve your credit, start a business, buy your first home, how to build a buy-to-let property portfolio, if you want to learn how to invest in the market, invest in crypto, because crypto is a big thing and it's on a lot of people's radars, then I have an event on the 15th and 16th of August. It's a digital event. It's going to be hosted via Zoom, where I'm collaborating with 10 professionals, 10 topics, 10 speakers across 2 days. And in addition to just using it as a means to inform you and empower your financial education and your financial journey, we are also raising money for the Lifehood Academy in London. They do great work with young people in London, keeping them off the street, keeping them in a place where they are surrounded by positive energy, and they are doing some really positive, important work. The plan is to raise up to £10,000 for that charity. So if you want to, number one, learn how you can achieve some life goals, buying a house, building a property empire, investing in the market, getting invested with, Bitcoin, starting a business, and you also want to help towards a good cause, this is the perfect opportunity for you. I will leave a link to purchase tickets in the description, but it's on the 15th and 16th of August this year, 2020. And I would love to see you there. I would love to have you there. I would love to have your support. Until next week, take care.